Prime Minister of Israel, Bibi Netanyahu, is due to meet with the President of the United States, Donald Trump. And I got a few thoughts on it. After all, Jews love to mind fellow Jews' business. One of our favorite pastimes, and especially if it's the Prime Minister. So, Bibi, listen up for a moment. I would like to share with you a thought on what's happening, what you're going to engage in, and where to get your strength from. Some people feel that the United States is what gives us our strength. After all, they are a superpower, they are a good friend. But is that, in fact, where we get it from? Firstly, we need to appreciate, Bibi, that Donald Trump has a mission. His mission is not to lead the people of Israel, but to lead the people of the United States of America. And his agenda, hence, will be a little different at times, if not very different, than what is needed for you to fulfill as the Prime Minister of Israel. And if they don't align, well, that's understood because he's doing what he feels is the benefit for his people, let alone perhaps also his own legacy. But that aside. So what is it that you need to have in order to you have the strength to stand firm for what is important for you as the leader of the land of Israel and the Jewish people in Israel? And for that matter, in a certain way, you have a leadership role that touches every Jew in the world. Well, let me share a couple of stories. There was a great Torah scholar who was on a flight sitting to an elderly man. They're both elderly. And this Torah elderly scholar had his grandson sitting a few rows behind, coming to speak to him and to engage with him. And the other elderly Jew was fascinated. He said, my grandchildren aren't looking to connect with me and looking for advice from me. They've got their own life. I'm inspired and impressed. Well, said the Torah scholar, well, it's kind of simple. You see, I believe, and so does my grandson, that I'm 2 generations closer to the giving of the Torah at Mount Sinai from God Almighty to the Jewish people, which was our marching orders forward. And since I'm 2 generations earlier, he wants to connect to that truth, and therefore he connects to me. But Western civilization and culture believes that, well, we come from the apes. Well, you happen to be 2 generations closer to the apes, and therefore he just wants to remove himself and run away from you as a result. Know where you come from is an important thing. Jewish people come from Sinai. That's where we were forged as a people. And that's where our greatness comes from. Together with that, there's a beautiful story of a very great philanthropist by the name of George Rohr. He was running a beginner's service for the high holidays for Jews who didn't know how to pray in a regular service. And he came to the Lubavitcher Rebbe, to the Rebbe, and with great excitement, and told him that he has began a service that's been very successful for beginners who don't have a background. And Rebbe got very serious and said to him, Jews that don't have a background? Go back and tell them that they do have a background. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel is the background that they have. Every Jew has that as a background. We come from somewhere, from great stock, and we've been given great marching orders at Mount Sinai. we have a very deep connection, and that's where our strength comes from. In this week's Torah portion, Bilam, who's a non-Jewish prophet, is hired by the king of Moab, Balak, to curse the Jews. Well, as a prophet, even though he had his own agenda, wanting to curse the Jews, hating them, but yet he could not cross the line of what God wanted from him. And in the end, of course, he blesses the Jews. And in the beginning of the blessings, he is on top of a mountain and he sees to the beginning of the Jewish people, to the beginnings. Where is our beginnings with our patriarchs and our matriarchs? And because we are so connected to them, that's what makes us great. That's what makes us a mountain that will be strong and immovable. Bibi, you come from great stock of the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the matriarchs, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel, and all of the great people since then. That's our greatness. Together with that we've been given the marching orders from God Almighty at Mount Sinai. We are firm like a mountain, that are immovable in the purpose that we have as a holy nation, to bring the holiness of God into this world. And in that holy journey that we are engaged in, to change the world for good, sometimes we have to deal with darkness and we have to deal with evil and uproot it. That's our responsibility. That is our obligation. Even if it might be the president of the United States, not his objective and not what he feels he's responsible for, that's okay. He's got to do what he's got to do. But we are immovable in what we need to do and what our purpose is for the Jewish people, for the people in the land of Israel, and be strong. As Balaam saw in the Jewish people, the strength didn't come because of our personal greatness or the oratory qualities that we have or the might that we have that we can flex because we have a strong army. No. Our strength is the strength of God Almighty, of the Torah that he gave us, which is eternal and makes us a mountain that is in eternal strength, that we will never change, and we have to do what's right in the eyes of God, not in the eyes of any human being, not even the President of the United States. My blessings to you, that you stand strong and firm in doing whatever it is that's important and necessary for the Jewish people and for the land of Israel. God bless you, and God bless all good people.